On this episode of Three Tool Players, Jose Alvarado is taking PEDs for swimsuit season. Spear warns Dan of hubris with thinking the Phillies have too much starting pitching. Juan Soto gets mercilessly booed in the Bronx, and Brian has a new business model for baseball team consultants. All this and more on this episode of Three Tool Players. Welcome to Three Tool Players. I'm Chris Spear, and alongside me, as always, are the Hammer brothers, Brian and Dan Hammer. Say hello to the internets, guys.
Hello to the internets, guys.
Ahoy, ahoy.
It was rivalry week here in baseball. This past weekend, there was a rumble in the Bronx with the Mets and Yankees at Yankee Stadium, and there was a little bit of bad news coming out of Philadelphia with regards to some PED usage.
Ah, boy. We did get the news yesterday that Jose Alvarado has been banned for 80 games, and it was due to a weight loss pill.
Bull stuff. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you God bless you. I mean, it's allergy season. You should.
Now, I have a big stink about this because you take a look at like the way that these teams are set up. They have an enormous training staff. You have these guys that have nutritionists. These guys are making millions upon millions of dollars, and they do have the resources in the building. So what I'm wondering is, why the heck are you taking a weight loss pill when you have all of these resources around you? It just baffles me why he's like, you know what? Maybe I should take this. Maybe this will be all right. No, it won't be all right. It's never all right.
Couldn't agree more.
Like I said before, you can't even take Sudafed. You cannot take any pills. You cannot put any pill in your body until you run it past the organization. So what I'm wondering is, what was going through his mind?
I'll answer that question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Either he's too stupid and incompetent, or he was in on it. Either way, he's not a credit to the Phillies organization.
I agree wholeheartedly.
If you were making millions of dollars and you have agents, you have trainers, you have nutritionists and dietitians and all these resources that you mentioned, Dan, at the end of the day, the thing that makes you money is your body. You're going to know everything that you put into it. You're going to know what your sleep schedule is. You're going to know how much protein and carb and everything and hydration that is required to keep your money-making ability on the field healthy at all times. And you only have a small window to do so. So the idea that this gentleman took a weight loss pill tells you something. And I'm going to talk about the fact that the Phillies bullpen in general has been a complete black eye for your organization, Dan. So I look at the guy who's really the one lone bright spot of that bullpen, and I wonder if he does it because he's feeling the pressure of trying to prop the rest of the bullpen up on his shoulders. Is this something that he's done for a long time now that nobody ever caught and finally people caught on to him? Or is this something even more nefarious?
I couldn't possibly agree more. The only thing I would add is that he tested positive for testosterone, which is not in any diet pill that I'm aware of.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? It's like everything you said is absolutely right. These guys have to know what goes into their body, and to take something and to use the excuse that, oh, I didn't know what I was taking, is either willfully ignorant or stupid. I couldn't possibly agree with Brian more, and you know how that makes me crazy.
Well, it's just that it means that you're growing as an individual, Spear, and I'm proud of your journey. So here's the thing that I'm going to throw at you, and this is something that I think is going to be big business for the future. What about team espionage, player espionage? And what I mean by that is, what happens if somebody did a Mission Impossible type thing from like the top of the ceiling when that guy was asleep and just dropped this pill into his little mouth there, right, while he was on the road? You don't know. I'm just simply saying that you got to keep your head on a swivel. And if there's a way to knock somebody out of eligibility, why shouldn't you? So, I mean, I look at a guy like Aaron Judge. I am petrified for the man. Right? I want to go on the road with Aaron Judge. I want to sample all his food. I want to make sure that it's all good, that it's not going to give him the runs or whatever. I want to make sure that I'm there swigging every sip of water, swirling around, making sure that it's kosher for that man, because there's a lot of awful people out there. And I tell you something, this could be a very, very big business, like kind of like the spy business. And just you take a contract out and says, all right, who's my next target? Well, my next target's going to be, let's see, Max Fried, because his start's coming up soon. So I got to make sure that this guy gets pink eye before his next start.
So I'm
Like,
gonna sprinkle a little stuff like, into his drink or onto his food. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, or go shake his hand, and say, "Oh, this is my kid," and the kid's got raging case of herpes on their hand, and they rip off the film of herpes. So
Jesus.
this is what I'm trying to get at: is there's a
Yeah.
real opportunity for folks to go nuts. It's a real growth market, in my opinion, and I can't wait to see what baseball looks like in the next 50 years. Because then, then you make a case for those people with the PEDs and everything like that. And it says, you know what? We'll have Martian landings too. So when is baseball going to be, woke and allow Martians to start playing MLB? So I
There'll
can't
be
wait.
a whole new set of Martian
There'll
leagues.
be a whole
to
new
keep them
Martian
segregated.
leagues. All right, right. And there'll be like the Martian Negro leagues, right? And they're going to wait another 100 years to let the Martians play
That's right. That's right.
the
That's
humanoids.
right.
It's just, come on, just let us all go nuts. We only have a small period of time to make this money, but don't do it with PDDs.
You mentioned the Mission Impossible thing. You guys remember the Albert Bell bat thing? Albert Bell was being accused of using a corked bat, which of course he was,
Mhm.
because he's
Yeah.
Albert Bell. You want to talk about like people who have questionable character? Albert Bell is somewhere towards the top of the list.
Yep.
Albert Bell was somebody took the bat and brought it back to the locker room, and then they had a pitcher, if I remember right, they had a pitcher come crawl through the ceiling to replace the corked bat with another bat that wasn't corked. The problem was that it wasn't an Albert Bell model, it was a Paul Sorrento model. So when they went to go pick up the bat, they're like, "What the hell is this? This isn't Albert's bat." Like the whole ruse was up, but there was somebody literally crawling through a false ceiling like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, trying to get. So you may not be too far off. Baseball has done this before. Maybe they do it again.
I do hope that they were playing the Mission Impossible music while they were going through the rafters.
That's right.
But I would like to say that I have to put some blame on some people right now. So you're saying that Jose Alvarado tested for testosterone. So I'm going to have to point my fingers at Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie, because those freaking commercials, those Nugenics commercials play 24/7. And I bet you Jose Alvarado said, you know what? I'm going to go with what Frank Thomas is saying, because you know what? She likes it too. So, yeah.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, Daniel, you're thinking that this man was up at 3 a.m. and infomercials are on, right after the part where Sarah McLachlan is singing about those little dogs with like one eye, and please, for only the cup of coffee a day, 60 cents a day, you too can please go ahead and sponsor Little Snuffles, and we'll send you a picture of how he's doing on a monthly basis. Ugh. So you're telling me
Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie
and Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie came on.
She'll like it too.
She'll like it too. Right. And you know what? That makes sense. That could track, because this is a man who is 6'2", 245 pounds when it's like peak season time. Who's to say that he might not be hitting the local sizzler a little harder than he should be, right? And he needs to get into shape real quick for, spring training. There might be something to this, Daniel. You might be onto something here. Right. I mean, listen, at the end of it all, why don't they take Ozempic? Why don't they do this? Because you don't know. He could have hypertension. He could have family history of diabetes. Right. And obesity is a real big deal out there. I'm going to tell you right now, this whole wave of Ozempic, it's saving lives. Right.
He's looking out for himself, man.
He had a touch of the sugars. All right. Let the man come on back with the weight loss. Good God. We're doing all our best to bring this guy back for you, Dan, because we know you have got a long road ahead.
Yeah.
Well, you take a look at it. But I mean, I was at the game yesterday. We saw two phenomenal pitchers. Mick Abel coming up on his Phillies debut, pitched 7 innings, gave up six hits, but left him stranded with 9 strikeouts. Taking a look at his pitch count, I believe he had about 62 or 64 strikes out of 84. The thing is with Mick Abel, the reason why he hasn't come up to the bigs, he was having control issues, but it looks like he has found it. He has found his rhythm, and he looks very good. You take a look at his minor league stats right now, phenomenal. So our starting pitching line looks really darn good. And I take a look at all of our starting pitchers that we have. Let's go through them. We have Wheeler,
Wheeler.
we have Nola, Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Chris Sanchez, and then we have Andrew Painter and Mick Abel down in AAA. So also, oh wait, we have Taiwan Walker that is coming out of the bullpen. He is a starting pitcher. He has start 6 games and he has a sub 3 ERA. He's like a 2.5 or 2.6 right now. I'm thinking to myself, there is a lot of availability to test the market with these starters to try to bring someone in for the bullpen. Ranger Suarez is on his walk year. And Taiwan Walker, even though that his contract is, I think, like 19 or 20 million a year, he is pitching very good this year. So you have 2 potential candidates on the trading block. I say take a look, see what you guys can do, test the market with those 2 players, see what you can bring in for the bullpen. Because right now it's just not looking good. Orion Kirkering is just not the same pitcher like he was a couple years ago. He was very shaky yesterday. Jordan Romano, thank God. I mean, taking a look at his pitches, they were all down. If you guys remember, at the beginning of the season, he was leaving a lot of pitches up, and he looks like a different pitcher, which is great. He looks like the Jordan Romano that we signed when he was with the Blue Jays. So he looks like he is on the right track, which is great. We need him since Jose Alvarado is gone, but the rest of the bullpen, it's not where it needs to be. Strom is struggling a little bit. He's not pitching to his caliber like he usually is. And the only person that is really helping out right now, I hate to say this, is Romano. He has been very good his last outings.
So the only thing I would say to you, Dan, is beware of hubris when you say that you have too much starting pitching or you feel like you're confident that you have all the starting pitching you need and can start looking at trades. I give you the Los Angeles Dodgers, who keep putting pitchers on the IL. Sasaki goes on the IL last week. Snell, Glasnow, Kershaw, Otani's not pitching. They keep having to bring in starting pitching. You can never have enough. And I can, as a Met fan, watching Manaea go down, feeling like I remember saying at the beginning of the season, I was like, I don't know what the hell we're going to do with Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning's turned out to be one of the best pitchers coming into the rotation, but it is good to have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to starting pitching. I wouldn't feel like the Phillies are in a position to start trading some of those pitchers. Maybe Taiwan Walker, because he could be used and he probably wants to be a starter.
Yeah,
But
the
those
only
guys,
thing, though, is Ranger is on his walk year. So they have pitching to back that up.
yeah, I would hold on to Ranger Suarez all season long and then see if you can figure out how to re-sign him. Because, I mean, you don't know what you're getting from Nola from game to game. Wheels is wheels, but you don't know what you're getting from Nola from game to game. You had one good start out of your rookie this weekend. You haven't seen Painter yet. This is one of those things. I think you hold on to all that starting pitching. It is if it truly is an embarrassment of riches, and I believe it is for the Phillies. You hold on to all of it for dear life because you never know when you're going to need it in the dog days in July and August.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel confident with the pitchers that we have down there because the thing is, they have no spot when they come up. There's no spot.
It's hubris, sir. It's hubris. You are definitely related to your brother because your brother is just walking hubris. Nothing but hubris. Feel like some of it's rubbing off on you, and that's a bad thing. Don't let it happen. Shake that off.
I feel like we have a good problem. We have a good problem. We have a solid starting pitching core. We have a decent problem. We just need we just need help in the bullpen.
What's amazing about that comment you made, Spear, is the fact that my little brother's 4 years younger than me. Just imagine how amazing his hubris will be 4 years from this moment.
If it grows, if it's the little seed that germinates and grows.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll have to see in 4 years, Dan, how your hubris grows. Speaking of hubris, Yankee fans filled with nothing but
Filled with nothing
but hubris. Nothing but.
Listen, at the end of it all, they're just games. All right, we're all here to have fun.
Oh my
And
goodness gracious!
Is he
You
trying
want
and
to
to know
be
why you're saying
humble?
that right
Is
now?
is he being humble
No,
right
he's
now?
full of crap. Why he's doing this right now is two reasons. Number one, Soto looked like hot garbage through the entire series, and the Yankees took 2 of 3 from the Mets.
and you were so scared that you actually had to fly cross country to Spokane, Washington to hang out with quote relatives when we all knew that
Quote relatives.
you were basically flying the coop knowing that your team was going to get spanked,
Yeah,
either
that's right.
swept or at least 2 out of 3. So thank you for leaving Dodge. All right. And
Yeah,
we
yeah,
held down
that's
the
right.
fort
That's
for you.
that's why
Right.
that's why I flew across the country. I didn't go out to spend any time with my fiance's family. I went out there to avoid the New York Yankee fans.
That's right. Your
That's why I
fiance,
did it.
it's all a ruse, all of
That's
it.
right. That's
We
right.
we
That's
all
right.
know we're all clever to it, sir. We're all onto it. And
Right.
the bottom line is this: was it a sexy series? Probably not. I mean, Judge didn't do much, and yes, Judge is very good at baseball. But that said, let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room that was Soto coming back to the Bronx, and yeah, he wasn't really great. He took a barrage of boos. Listen, people are going to choose how they're going to react to a situation like that. This is a man that helped us get to the World Series last year, and people feel jilted. Others couldn't be bothered. I'm part of the latter. But right now, Soto is playing like a guy that doesn't have that kind of intensity or that sense of urgency at the plate. And I have to be honest, I'm not saying this because I'm a jilted Yankees fan. I'm saying just the numbers reflect and his performance reflects this. That said, Judge didn't fare much better either this time around. But I'll tell you who doesn't like playing against the Mets. It's
Cody
Cody
Bellinger.
Bellinger. He doesn't like playing against you guys. He loves playing against you guys. And listen, it was, as advertised, I mean, there was decent pitching for a while there. I got to be honest, I was a little bit worried when they put Devin Williams into the game during a tie game, late innings against the Meteor Order, and he still got through them. So that was a nice little bright spot there. But, in the end, I mean, these games weren't extremely remarkable. They could have gone either way throughout, except for like that last game that just the floodgates opened up the
Right at
second.
the end. Yeah, right at
Yeah,
the end.
as soon as Alonso airmailed that throw to home plate, and we did what we did with the bases juiced. So I would say that I look forward to the next match with you all this season, and I'm looking forward to a spirited rivalry there.
Yeah, I think that the Mets bullpen, which previously looked formidable, has seen some cracks start to form. Some of this was predictable. A lot of overuse. Still, Met pitchers can't get through the sixth inning. Like you said, they were both all three of them were relatively close games. The third game, right all the way to the end, was close. And you got a lot of good pitching. Griffin Canning looked good. Peterson looked good. Griffin Canning has turned out to be the gem of this rotation, surprisingly enough. And I don't think anybody saw that one coming. But it was the same thing like last year. Nobody saw Quintana or Manaya or even Severino kind of finding the fountain of youth. Nobody saw any of that coming. So, kudos to the Mets pitching coaches and the pitching lab finding these diamonds in the rough and figuring out how to squeeze water from a rock. What I will never understand, I know you're in the latter category of the kind of the shrug of the shoulders, but I will never understand why Yankee fans are as abusive of Juan Soto. I mean, you should take some solace in the fact that after he left, he looks like a shell of himself, as you said. He's not performing at Juan Soto levels. He's getting on base a lot, and that's the one thing you could say for Juan Soto is he's getting on base, and that leads to runs scored and RBIs. More scoring is more gooder, but you're waiting for him to wake up and be the Juan Soto that he was with the Yankees last year. You're just not seeing it yet, and he looks disconnected and disinterested. He's not running balls out. It's not good. And I don't know how much of it was that the Yankee fans actually got to him because they were on him, man. I mean, the booing, the backs being turned, the constant barrage from the bleacher creatures. I will never understand why a Yankee fan feels as, I don't know, violently angry about the fact that Soto left to go to the Mets.
they have a sense of entitlement. They are kind of like the 12th man in Seattle per
Right.
se.
Who are the Seattle
So
Seahawks?
this is NFL. I'm sorry, I'm switching
What?
sports right now.
I don't understand what sport you're speaking of. I
Well,
only
not
know
only that, but it's
baseball.
like all the way out on the West Coast where
Yeah,
Brian
Where you
pays no
went to go
mind.
hide.
yeah.
That's
That's
where you
right.
went to go
That's
hide.
where I went to
You
go
went to go
hide.
hang out with the
Yes,
Seattle Seahawks.
that's right.
Now it's all coming together there. Little
So
hammer.
that's why yeah, I'm siding with Spear right now since
Spear is the 12th
he
man.
was in Washington State. So
I was the 13th man.
so basically, I mean, like, yeah, it is. You take a look at the fans, the fan base. I mean, like, all of our fan bases are insane, but I feel like the Yankees fans, they just take it to another level.
Well, that's for sure. And I could understand it if it was reversed. If Soto left the Mets to go to the Yankees, I could understand it. That's certainly
Yeah.
being jilted because it's like you left us where you could have actually helped us and you went to the evil empire. I felt the same way about Strawberry. I felt the same way about Beltron. I felt the same way about Doc Gooden. I felt the same way about David Cohn. It's like to see a Met player in Yankee pinstripes, it hurts in places that it shouldn't. You
Yeah.
know, it hurts very deeply. But the other way I don't get because the Yankees get whatever it is they want. Yeah, okay, they lost Soto. They got Paul Goldschmidt and Cody Bellinger who are lighting it up. Yankees fans get theirs. Why are you picking on poor Soto and little brother over there in Queens? What?
Oh, well, don't play the woe is me, little brother baloney here. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you still have a better record than we do, even though you're, in the National League and that's, whatever. But at the end of it all, you threw your money down. You're not a little brother. You're spending big Uncle Steve dollarinos, $765 million. That is absolutely none of it deferred. I mean, you planted your flag. You wanted to make a statement. Go. You made your statement. And now your statement isn't really doing much. Your big horn is fizzling for the first couple months. Now, listen, it's a very small sample population of time. So there could still be an adjustment period for somebody like Soto. But in the end, yeah, he's not living up to his contract. He's, as your mother said during Easter, he's not hitting enough home runs.
He's
Uh,
not.
he's
He's not.
not. And
Why'd we pay him all that money?
why we pay him all that money. I mean, because listen, that's what's sexy. That's what validates big paydays. That those
Moms
power
love the long ball.
they absolutely do. And Soto's just not showing it. So even though you said it didn't look like he was pressing a little bit, or he was disconnected, maybe he was, trying to not let the Yankees get to him or the fan base get to him. Because he even went on record to say, I knew exactly what to expect, and I'm just going to be professional and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You're going to get booed.
Yeah, good job.
You made
You're
a
gonna
choice.
get paid. You're gonna get paid $765 million. You made your choice. You deal
Right.
with whatever happens wherever you go.
I would
mean,
love to make that kind of money and get booed the second I walk into my office.
sure,
Honestly, I
sure.
absolutely would. And you could literally spit in my eye and trip me
Gross.
down a few flight of stairs for that kind of money. And I'd still show up to work every single day with a
You want to
smile
get
on my
tripped down the
face.
stairs every day? That
Just
feels like
about.
you better have a really good medical plan.
Oh, we do. We absolutely do.
Well, that's
But
good.
but this is what I'm trying to tell you. For that kind of money, I'll do a nice little soft shoe for you. You want to spill hot coffee on my leg as you're walking by, you go for it. All right. But I'll still count my money at the end of the day.
Hey, Bri, I got a question for you.
Daniel, I have an
Do
answer for you.
you know of any Yankees that have left the Yankee organization, have gone somewhere else, and come back and be cheered?
It's going to be in our fan base DNA that we're going to boo folks. Now, the level of booing, the audible boo is what Dan's trying to understand here. Somebody like Soto is going to hear it. He's going to hear it because he had a chance to really help the Yankees build a dynasty. He was one of those cog players, and he took the paycheck instead. That's something that still stings. And yes, that's going to create all sorts of boos because of that philosophy. Now, that said, yes, Andy Pettitte did receive boos from the Yankee fans when he returned to Yankee Stadium as a Houston Astro. While some fans booed out of respect for his long tenure with a sense of nostalgia, others booed because they wished he still played for their team. Those boos often signify that fans wish that player is still on their team. That's the real answer, Daniel, is that yes, Yankees fans still wish that Juan Soto was on our team. And this is our way of registering our our displeasure with your choice to chase dollars for a second-rate ball club on the other side of New York City that is not destined to win really anything because they are programmed for misery and loss and devastation. Spirit, did I get all that right? I want to make sure that I didn't miss any.
You did good, Bry. You
All
did
right.
real good.
Just making sure there.
You
Okay.
did real good.
So,
real good.
Daniel, did I answer your question about why we boo?
Yes, I appreciate your answer. Thank you so much.
Okay, terrific.
Yeah, you talk about booing too. Met fans are not thrilled with Soto at the moment. And, for all the reasons we've talked about, he hasn't produced at Juan Soto levels. So, as much as Yankee fans may be feeling jilted and not happy about the fact that he started chasing the money, Met fans are waiting for him to start earning the money. This is, by the way, the same exact thing that Met fans went through with Frankie Lindor. Yeah, when Lindor first came to the Mets, he had, at the time, earned the largest contract that any Mets administration had ever handed out. And it took him a while to really get going and then become enamored by the fan base. And to be perfectly honest, none of that really happened until last year with that run to the National League Championship Series. Fans feel the same way about Soto now. It's where are you going to start earning your money? When are you going to start earning your money there, Juan? You got the suite for your mom. You got all the things that you didn't get from the Yankees. You came to us. We're giving it to you. How about it now? And for that, I'd say to Met fans, settle down. He still wants Soto. He's still one of the best hitters of his generation. He works counts. He sees good pitches, and eventually he'll start hitting the ball. And I'd like to just remind Met fans, although we are programmed for misery, as my Yankee fan cohort over there points out, we're starting to want to turn that around. So how about we flip the script a little bit and we start encouraging the man who just took it really hard from our friends over there in the Bronx. How about we pick this guy up a little bit, huh? And let's show him some love.
So you want to hear something fun? Just for funsies, I wanted to compare Juan Soto to somebody that had pretty close stats, and it happens to be another Yankee, Trent Grisham. If you look at somebody like Soto versus Grisham, one person's getting paid a hell of a lot more than the other. Just to give you an idea, Trent Grisham's only making $5 million this year with the Yankees. And by the last count, how much is Soto making annually out of that 765?
A lot.
Okay, we'll say a lot. How about this? Overall WAR, Soto's 1.7, Trent is 1.3. The only thing he's got him beat on, he has 41 hits compared to 32. He has 5 stolen bases compared to 0. And his on-base percentage is 379 versus a 367, which is pretty tight. But where Trent is beating him is home runs 12 to 8, RBIs 22 to 20, basically average. Batting average about 267, 246, but slugging, OPS and OPS plus, all better than Juan Soto at this time in the season. So in terms of return on investment, again, I'm one of those Yankees fans that I'm not going to boo. I'm actually going to say, all right, well, that's where the money went. And is it being well spent? Clearly, compared to what we're getting production-wise versus what you're getting production-wise at that elevated contract, I'm going to say not so much.
Yeah, but the key phrase there is at this point in the season. So time will tell. I mean, wake me up in August. If Soto is still half asleep and he's batting 250 and he's only got like 18 home runs in August, all right, that's when we start to go, hey, get your stuff together there. There's a lot of money coming your way. So,
well, I'll take it a step further. What I want Trent Grisham to do at the end of the season, if he outpaces Juan Soto this year, and let's say, he ends up hitting 20 home runs and Soto only hits 18, I want Trent Grisham's agent to march right into Brian Cashman's office and demand $765 million.
Well, you want Trent Grisham to fire his agent and get Scott Boras and then go get $765 million. That's what you want.
That's
Rightfully
right.
So.
That's right. I want
All right,
parity in this league.
Look at my guy. His comp is Juan Soto right now, and Juan is getting paid like a boatload of money. Let's go, Cashman. Live up to your name. How about some of that cash there, big guy?
That basically wraps up our rivalry week. What we like about this is the fact that our beautiful Mr. Spear, who's obviously a very great Mets fan, even though he hightailed it across the country to Spokane, Washington, to be with his great love, he left another love behind, and that was his Metropolitans to lose 2 out of 3 games to my beloved Bombers. And Lil Hammer, his Phillies are doing great, beating up on those kids from Pittsburgh. But also, there's a little bit of diet pill use happening within the clubhouse. Dan, I'm going to tell you something right now. You look beautiful the way you are. I don't want you taking any pills. Just you and I, we'll go run out onto the beach together. We'll do a couple sit-ups, and the ladies, they'll come a-flocking. So stay out of those pills, will you, my friend?
Hey. I'll tell you what, Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie have not gotten hold of me yet. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well,
This
we'll
is
have
why
to.
I do the outros. You can check out every episode of Three Tool Players on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube. Make sure you hit those like, subscribe, and follow buttons. Mash all of those buttons. It's what the kids do. And you can find us on TikTok at Three Tool Players or X.com at Three Tool Pod. For Brian and Dan Hammer, I am Chris Spear, and we thank you for listening to this episode of Three Tool Players.